What is good, homies? This is Chris from the Small Hat Crew, joined today by a very special guest. All right, let us know who you are, what you're doing.
Alex Barbosa. I was playing ARLONG with X2 today.
X2 with ARLONG. Now, do take note. I did mention it already. My man's teched his ARLONG out with some tape. Let the people know why that is.
I tend to slam down my leader too much when attacking and pop open my case all the time, so
it's like that Beyblade burst action, right? That Beyblade burst. My local has we're having a Beyblade scene soon. Bro, it goes crazy. Okay. All right. So
all right, start it off.
Here we go. Oh wait, actually before we jump into it, because some people are impatient and skip to the end to look at the list and everything. Anything you want, anybody you want to shout out or anything like that while you have their attention?
Just the people from my locals who helped me test play it out.
What's your local?
From Orlando area, so we got a few of them. We got both Cool Stuffs, South Orlando and Maitland. And we got House Rules down in Kissimmee. And then we got our locals right here at Versus.
Okay. All right. We'll jump into it. So yeah, man went X2 at Regional Oviedo with ARLONG of all leaders. Apparently you've been on him for a minute. I heard since he dropped. Okay. All right. Let's get into it. What's up? What's up?
First, we got for Karubi's.
I didn't even know Karubi had an alt-art. Oh my god. Okay, for Karubi.
Which is pretty standard. Rest any character that you want. One Don. I played the Hatchins.
For a winner. Whenever I pull this card, I would tilt so hard. I'd be so angry. You're probably
I was the one guy like.
You're the only guy.
And everyone's like, why do you want that?
All right.
All right, and then we got 4 ARLONGs.
Is this for like Gecko matchup or what?
This is mostly for your Gecko matchup.
Okay, I figured as much.
Sometimes Katakuri, sometimes Sakazuki if you really don't want them to get the -1. But ideally, it's just for Mario.
Gecko, yeah.
And the 6K. The 6K is real good because it stops opponent players like Law who wants a -3. It'll force them to use the Gordons.
It makes sense too. Also, now that Whitebeard's having a resurgence, that is a 6K body. All right.
The card I added back in the deck after last week's regional was Django.
Really?
That matchup, since they like to clear my board a lot, it gives me an opportunity to still get that second swing.
Makes sense.
Which came clutch today.
Damn, that seems so expensive though. Like that hasn't been an issue for you.
I try to save it for like 7 to 10 Don.
Okay.
One game at 1, he cleared my board, had no blockers for 1 life, so I went 10 with lead, played him, restand, 10 again at lead, and he had no counter for it.
Okay.
We played 2 Mihawks. Thinking about upping that one up, but it didn't come up today.
Didn't come up, probably don't up it then, right?
That's more for your Moria and Katakuri matchup, just to go wide and try to beat them in before they get their big guys in.
Makes sense.
4 Satoris.
4 Satori.
Pretty standard. You want to play the Satoris and Hatchins because they can pretty much play themselves. That's pretty much everything that you're going to see.
When we get to OPO7, I assume, are you throwing in like the Fernosuke or whatever?
I am not sure yet. Not sure. I've been really trying to do a Wano build, so I've been looking forward to like the new Wano Searcher and stuff coming out.
Yeah.
But I haven't really tinkered with it to see how it's going to play.
Okay.
New addition is the Zoros. 4 of those.
It's crazy because like you're the only deck that's probably still running this card. Because for everyone else, everyone was mad. Like, when are we getting this card? And then Onami just came out, and I was like, we don't need this card anymore.
So I like Onami better, but this one. Pretty much the same thing.
Same thing.
It's the Rebecca's, it's Borsalinos, but it's also a card I can play off the trigger.
Yeah, I figured technically it's a body.
Onami is ideally I'm not playing that one off the trigger.
Well, you make a cheater out and get the banish, right?
It was for Onel, the banish, but now Onel got ways around that as well. We got 4 Sanji.
4 Sanji.
Pretty standard there. 4 Nekomushi.
4 Nekomamushi.
We got 4 Beige.
4 beige. If you don't mind me asking, how many triggers is this? Out of your 50 cards?
96%.
Oh, that's terrible. I hate that.
Only 3 cards don't have a trigger, and then 6 cards are big cards, no power.
Oh, that's so tilting.
I got mad at Katakuri, and I was like, I got something for you.
Bro. I heard you steamroll your locals with this.
I normally X1 majority of the time, top 4 all the time. And
Kikunojo standard.
Yeah, pretty standard. I'm playing also 4 Atamas. Basically defense.
Yeah.
You know, I don't got, there's the only blocker I have, so.
8 triggers that just pop all of a sudden.
Yep. 4 crackers.
Yep.
So I can take life and
Gotcha.
the game in. And then something that I added in that I'm not really liking, but it's clutch. It's 2 rejects.
2 reject. So you said you're not liking it. You added it recently. What were you running before, and would you go back?
I had 2 smoothies.
2 smoothies?
I probably won't go back, but the reason I had the smoothies is because certain decks were trying to stall me out, so I cannot be as aggressive. But seeing how there was a lot more, I knew a lot more Yamatos and Whitebeards were going to be relevant.
Makes sense.
So I figured Sakazuki would be more of a problem, and I wanted something that can guarantee get past those blockers and KO them when I needed to.
So for aspiring ARLONG players, they probably have some questions like, when you win your die rolls, what matchups do you take first? What matchups do you take second?
I tend to always go first instead of the Whitebeard matchup.
Okay.
So having that 8K swing is way better than 7K swing.
Yeah, makes sense.
Outside of that, maybe second against Sakazuki.
So you just go first, 99%.
Yeah.
Bro just goes face.
I don't care for the dice. you give me whatever. Ideally, I'll try to choose first if I can get first.
Any questions you have, Jake?
No, man, I was so impressed watching this deck. I watched some of his matches after I didn't do well, and I was so impressed watching that deck. It's so cool.
Literally, the only reason we found you is because I was like walking around and Jake, he was like, an ARLONG with X2. I was like, what the fuck?
He's like, where is ARLONG? What?
Yeah, bro, we were looking for you for like probably
beautiful.
10 minutes.
I go to sit down. I'm like, I promise you didn't test play against this. He's like, let me see it. And they're like, and I'm like, okay, I got the win.
Is there anything that's not like immediately obvious that like some ARLONG players might be doing wrong or considering or?
I consider ARLONG an aggro leader, so I play it as that. Every turn I'm trying to get bodies, I'm trying to get triggers. Some people like to play like more of a Wano package where they play Fioris and Wanos, which is okay, but you can't play your typical ARLONG that same way. You have to go and play more like a Yamato.
Another question. So I think it's probably very obvious because you have triggers, but how aggressively do you take life? Do you ever really counter? Do you counter when your opponent's on like not 3? Like, what's up?
So I try to counter until they get to 3 lives.
Okay.
Really.
Yep.
Certain matchups I have to go and take the life. I try to always counter out the leader swing.
Yeah.
I try to wait for they play a body. That way, if I do trigger an Onami or Zoro or the ARLONG, I can affect their board. So that's mostly why I wait. I try to stall out until they start playing stuff, and then I go and start triggering.
Okay, and then I guess one other question I do have is, you know, because it's ARLONG, right? So we have to bring it back to reality a little bit. What matchups? What is your bad matchup? What do you not want to see?
I do not want to see Moria. And Red Purple Law.
That's 2 of our meta leaders. Do you not play this in Extra Booster then?
You can still play it. Like I don't want to like the Law matchup is probably the worst matchup.
Okay.
If they play it right, just because they can help aggro me, and they're playing stuff for free, 2 bodies versus 1 body. The Moria matchup is mostly removal.
Okay.
You know, if they see the Absalon and the Eruption, then it's practically game for there. Sakazuki is an easy matchup because everything's a 4 cost. So I'm swinging 7K and dropping a 4 cost. So you're either gonna use 2 cards to remove the 4, or you're gonna use 2 cards to stop the 7K swing. And eventually Sakazuki gasses out. So that's my favorite matchup right there.
That's actually crazy. And I guess another thing, while we do the comprehensive ARLONG 101, what do you mulligan for?
Depending on the matchups, most of the time I'm looking for Hiyori or the ARLONG. Just because they're the 6K swings. So if I'm going first, when I get 5 down, I can put 1 on here, get a 7K swing, and then get an 8K swing. Yeah. Which is better than 2 7s. I'm forcing all your 2Ks out of hand. You're most likely going to put yourself down to 3 life at that point, which puts my whole deck right.
Makes sense. Any closing thoughts or anything that you want to say, you know, give you a little platform to voice your ARLONG opinions and concerns or whatever. The ARLONG community probably has never had a spokesperson until now, so.
It was my goal to try to get a nice top for all the ARLONG people. What I would have to say is just test play, man. Don't listen to what other people say. Just keep finding a way. And there's a card for everything. There's a card for everything.
All right.
And when in doubt, play yellow. Hit triggers.
Do you have like any socials or anything you want to shout out or anything?
Nah.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for coming on, man. I really do appreciate you. There's probably not another X2 ARLONG video on YouTube, and there probably, unless it's you, there probably never will be again. So, but until next time, then we'll see you guys. You want to say bye to the viewers?